Rewind the clock with me to 1999. Charles Stone III was a music video director with aspirations of making full-length feature films. His work had been most prominent in hip-hop circles, where he had directed videos in the early 90s for artists like A Tribe Called Quest and Public Enemy. These were still the early days of hip-hop, when budgets for music videos were not as massive as they would come to be by the end of the decade, and the production budgets for Stone's videos were modest. But Stone had greater ambitions. He wanted to make movies, not music videos, yet he could not get his foot in the door at the major motion picture studios. So, in 1999, he decided to take matters into his own hands. With a $1,000 budget, he enlisted his closest buddies from his hometown of Philadelphia to co-star in his directorial film debut, a 3-minute short simply titled True. To say that True was light on dialogue would be an understatement. The short film followed a series of exchanges between Stone and his friends, Kevin Lofton, Fred Thomas Jr., Paul Williams, and Terry Williams. That could be summed up in one word: what's up? A colloquialism for what's up. It was a common greeting among young urban dwellers, particularly those from the Black community. What's Up had found an even larger audience in the 90s thanks to the meteoric success of Martin Lawrence's television show, Martin. As star of the show, Lawrence, one of the biggest stand-up comedians at the time in real life, played a Detroit radio personality for a fictional radio station with the call letters WZUP, pronounced What's Up. His signature on-air salute was a high-pitched repetition of What's Up?, which would become one of the many memorable catchphrases of the show. But that would be eclipsed by what happened next. According to the lore, a creative director from the advertising agency DDB Chicago saw Stone's short and thought it was perfect for one of his clients, Budweiser. It didn't feel like advertising to the ad exec. It felt like something altogether different. The short features a 20-something man on the couch watching sports. The phone rings. His friend on the line asks, "Yo, what's up?" The young man responds, "Nothing, man, just chillin'." To which his friend responds, "True," as if to say, "I hear ya." Just then, another friend of the young man enters the apartment and gregariously asks, "What's up?" in an exaggerated, elongated fashion. The two respond in kind with their own exaggerated exclamation, "What's up?" Before long, two additional friends join the exchange of "What's up?" The film ends in a fashion similar to how it started. The original friend asks the 20-something man, "What's up with you?" The 20-something responds, "Nothing, man, just chillin'." To which the friend responds, "True." The creative director's instincts were spot on. At the time, Budweiser positioned itself as a champion of camaraderie, the social lubricant among close friends, your buddies, as signified in its historic tagline, "This Bud's for you." From its heights in the 1950s and on throughout the decades, Budweiser had been synonymous with American culture, sponsoring popular shows and sporting events. However, its relevance had begun to wane in the 1990s because it was no longer representative of the cultural zeitgeist. However, True captured the essence of contemporary friendship. You don't need many words when you're talking with your closest friends. Friends speak in code, and everyone who understands the code just gets it. Stone and his buds demonstrated that perfectly in the film, so much so that DDB simply recreated True, with the original cast and all, for the Budweiser campaign. Budweiser's What's Up ad hit the airwaves later that year, and the rest, as they say, was history. Within a matter of months, What's Up had been imitated by talk show hosts and radio personalities, parodied by movies, memed and proliferated by online content creators in the early days of the internet, and adopted into the cultural lexicon of the masses. America got a new catchphrase, and Budweiser was legitimated as a culturally relevant brand once again, which led to millions in beer sales and major motion picture gigs for Stone, along with a ton of advertising awards.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.